Hello, I'm Jordan. Welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video, I'll talk a little bit about my experience learning freediving and scuba diving on the island of Mindoro in the Philippines. But first, a quick word from my sponsor.
Coastal Connection are the hottest indie rock band on planet Earth, with members from England, Vietnam and the US of A. They're guaranteed to rock your socks off. Follow Coastal Connection on Spotify, YouTube, Tinder and ChristianFarmers.com now.
Freediving is the sport or activity of diving deep underwater without the use of breathing apparatus, and I completed the Molchanov Wave 1 3-day course at the Freedive Inn located on the beautiful and inland beach of Mindoro Island in the Philippines. My fantastic instructor Alex guided me through a series of techniques and exercises designed to improve underwater swimming ability and breathing efficiency. We started out with a couple of pool sessions, and by the end of those sessions I was able to hold my breath underwater for 2 minutes and 5 seconds. I was also able to swim underwater comfortably for almost 40 meters. So, after training in breathing and a few swimming techniques, now I'm going to do a dive from here to there and back, all underwater with one breath. I also learned freediving health and safety techniques and emergency first aid, and what to do in the event of my freediving partner suffering with blackout due to critically low levels of oxygen. Freediving is an extremely safe activity, and many would argue that it's even safer than scuba diving, but there are still some risks. It's always important to learn the proper safety procedures before diving, and you should always dive with a buddy. After completing the sessions in the swimming pool, it was time to go out into the open water, and this was what I was most excited about. It was time to put my skills to the test. Altogether we completed 3 open water diving sessions, each time making about 10 to 15 dives. During this time I learned how to dive using 2 techniques, the first one being free immersion, whereby on my descent I am able to use my hands to guide me along the rope. The other technique is known as constant weight, and this is swimming vertically downwards, and as you descend using nothing but your fins and your body to swim down and then to swim back up. In this technique you're not allowed to touch the rope for support. One of my favourite lessons that I took away from this freediving course was how to begin any dive, because I think this can be transferred to other aspects of life and to other skills, particularly sport. I was taught to begin every single dive by relaxing against the buoy, taking my time and completing a mental visualization exercise where I visualize the dive from start to finish, visualizing every aspect of the dive, how I'm going to move, how I'm going to breathe, how I'm going to arrange my thoughts. This is a great exercise. I was then taught to complete a body scan, and you might be familiar with this from various yogic and meditation practices. It's basically where you relax your entire body, muscle by muscle, from head to toe. Then, once completing these 2 steps, I was taught to take a big inhale using my stomach, my chest, my intercostal muscles and my diaphragm until I've got a full body of air, and then beginning the descent. At first, the idea of freediving was a very scary prospect for me, and it induced a lot of anxiety and fear, as I've always had a deep-rooted fear of deep water and drowning, although I'm not too sure why, but it's something that's been with me my whole life. It's one of the reasons that I decided to take up freediving as a hobby. But after a few dives, I immediately fell in love with the feeling of diving deep underwater. And by the end of my time on Mindoro Island, I dived up to 23 meters, something that I didn't think possible just a week ago. If you're interested in freediving, or if you have a fear of the water, if you have a fear of drowning and you want to find a way to become more comfortable with that fear, I highly recommend giving freediving a go. And if you do it in a controlled setting like this, with a proper coach, learning the proper techniques, you can then apply these skills everywhere you travel. It's an experience that I find very difficult to describe, but one that I also will never forget. So, that's it. I've finished my freediving course. It took a total of 3 days and included 3 open water diving sessions and 1 pool session, and it was amazing. I've learned so much, and it was a great physical challenge, and I think I'll be back possibly next year to do the Wave 2, basically the intermediate course. Yeah, it was awesome. I couldn't recommend this place enough. The Freedive Inn, Alex and Mila are absolutely awesome instructors, and they're also really lovely hosts. So stay tuned for my next video, which will be all about my scuba diving experience. And I'd like to end with a little quote from Natalia Molchanova. She's a legend in the freediving world. She comes from Russia, and she held a bunch of records. She was an absolute legend of the sport. And yeah, I just think this quote is quite beautiful, so I'm gonna read it to you. Freediving is about feelings, whether it is the euphoria that comes from weightlessness, or our amazement at the beauty of the underwater world. We dive for the moments of joy which come from a deeper understanding of our thoughts and experiences. We freedive for the pleasure of solitude, where inner peace and awareness calm our racing mind. Freediving offers us happiness from nothing more than a single breath of air.